My name's John Marston. I'm here to bring
2010 gave us Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar's masterpiece that brought the Wild West to life like never before. You played as John Marston, a former outlaw trying to leave his violent past behind, but pulled back in by the government to hunt down his old gang. What made this game unforgettable wasn't just the massive open world, it was the storytelling. From dusty towns to snowy mountains, every inch of the frontier felt alive. Players could gamble, herd cattle, duel in the street, or just ride into the sunset listening to one of the best soundtracks in gaming history. And of course, who could forget that emotional ending that left players stunned? Critics praised its narrative depth, gamers loved the freedom and authenticity, and it sold millions worldwide. In 2010, Red Dead Redemption wasn't just a game, it was an experience that defined what open-world storytelling could be. "2011 was the year the world stopped for Skyrim. This wasn't just another RPG, it was a jaw-dropping fantasy epic that pushed the limits of what open-world games could be. The graphics at the time were breathtaking, snowy mountains stretching into the horizon, waterfalls crashing through valleys, and ancient ruins glowing with mysterious light. Everywhere you turned, there was a scene worth pausing just to take in. But it wasn't just the visuals, it was the action. For the first time, you could dual-wield spells and weapons, unleash brutal finishing moves, and of course, shout dragons out of the sky with the legendary Fus Ro Da. Every dungeon was a story, every dragon fight a cinematic battle that felt earned. Critics hailed it as revolutionary, and fans poured thousands of hours into exploring its massive world. Skyrim wasn't just a game in 2011, it was the fantasy adventure every gamer dreamed of living. 2012 gave us something completely different, Journey. While most big hits that year focused on size and action, Journey was short, quiet, and emotional. You played a nameless robed traveler crossing a vast desert, heading toward a glowing mountain on the horizon. No dialogue, no HUD, just pure atmosphere, music, and discovery. And if another player joined your game, they appeared silently, a stranger you could only communicate with through chimes and movement. That simple connection created one of the most powerful cooperative experiences in gaming. Critics called it art, players were deeply moved, and it won countless Game of the Year awards. Its haunting soundtrack even earned a Grammy nomination, the first for a video game. In 2012, Journey showed the world that games could be more than entertainment. They could be profound, emotional experiences. "2013 was the year The Last of Us set a new bar for storytelling in games. Naughty Dog gave us Joel and Ellie's journey across a ruined America, blending survival gameplay with one of the most emotional narratives ever put in a game. The infected were terrifying, but the real horror came from the human survivors.
Is she alive? What girl? I don't know no girl.
Desperate, brutal, and unpredictable. What really gripped players, though, was the bond between Joel and Ellie, slowly growing stronger with every chapter. Critics hailed the writing, acting, and world building, while gamers praised its tense combat and unforgettable story beats. That gut punch of an ending sparked debates for years. The Last of Us sold millions, swept awards, and remains a cultural touchstone in gaming and beyond, inspiring a hit TV adaptation. In 2013, this wasn't just the best game of the year, it was a storytelling milestone. 2014 gave RPG fans a true epic with Dragon Age Inquisition. BioWare crafted a massive fantasy world filled with political intrigue, personal stories, and some of the best campaign characters in the genre. Players took on the role of the Inquisitor, tasked with saving the world from a demonic threat, but also juggling choices that shaped kingdoms, relationships, and even the fate of entire races. What made it special was the freedom. You could explore stunning landscapes, make tough moral decisions, and build bonds with your party that felt meaningful. Critics praised its depth and scale, players loved its mix of story and exploration, and it went on to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards. For RPG fans in 2014, Inquisition was the ultimate adventure.
In 2015 belonged to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a game that redefined what open-world RPGs could be. From the very first steps into the war-torn lands of Velen, the scale and detail were staggering. Rolling fields gave way to dense forests, villages alive with bustling NPCs, and oceans that stretched forever. The graphics were stunning for the time. Sunsets painting the sky over Novigrad, storms rolling across the seas, and creatures so detailed they felt ripped out of dark folklore. But it wasn't just about looking beautiful. Combat was fierce, fluid, and brutal. Geralt's swordplay combined with powerful signs gave every fight weight. Whether you were slashing through bandits or taking down towering griffins in cinematic showdowns. Add in the incredible storylines, unforgettable characters like Yennefer and Ciri, and quests so well written they felt like novels on their own. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest games ever made. Fans poured in hundreds of hours, and it went on to win Game of the Year across nearly every award show. In 2015, The Witcher 3 wasn't just the best game, it was a generational masterpiece.
Attackers incoming. Prepare your defenses.
2016 was the year Overwatch exploded onto the scene and changed multiplayer gaming forever. Bright, colorful maps set across the globe, from a neon-lit Tokyo street to an Egyptian temple bathed in sunlight, gave every match a cinematic flair. What really made it pop were the heroes, each one distinct with flashy animations, ultimate abilities that could turn the tide, and personalities that fans instantly fell in love with. The combat was fast, chaotic, and endlessly satisfying. Pulling off a Diva's self-destruct or a Hanzo Dragon Strike felt like a movie moment every time. Blizzard nailed the easy-to-pick-up, hard-to-master formula, and it showed. Critics praised it, players couldn't get enough, and it became a cultural phenomenon with fan art, cosplay, and a thriving esports scene. In 2016, no game was more fun, more alive, or more talked about than Overwatch. 2017 was dominated by The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, a game that completely reinvented open-world exploration. From the moment you stepped out of the Shrine of Resurrection, the world stretched endlessly. Mountains, forests, deserts, and ruins just waiting for you to discover. The visuals, with their painterly style, made every sunrise and storm look like a masterpiece. Combat was dynamic and creative. Climb anywhere, glide off cliffs, set grasslands on fire, or launch enemies into the sky with physics-based chaos. Every fight could play out differently depending on your imagination. What blew players away was the freedom. You weren't told how to play, you were simply set loose to survive and explore. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest games ever made, and players lost themselves for hundreds of hours. In 2017, Breath of the Wild didn't just raise the bar, it reinvented it.
They'll probably hang you, buddy.
You coming, buddy?
2018 gave us Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar's most ambitious and cinematic game to date. The graphics were jaw-dropping, sunsets reflecting on rivers, snow crunching under boots, and towns buzzing with life. It was like stepping into a living, breathing Western movie. Combat felt heavy and realistic. Every bullet mattered, every gunfight was cinematic, and the Deadeye system made every showdown unforgettable. Beyond the action, it was the details that blew players away. Arthur's beard growing over time, horses reacting naturally, even NPCs remembering how you treated them. And the story. Arthur Morgan's journey was tragic, powerful, and left players stunned. Critics showered it with near-perfect reviews. Fans called it Rockstar's masterpiece, and it sold over 50 million copies. In 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't just a game. It was the most immersive Western ever created.
By 2019 was ruled by Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, From Software's brutal samurai epic. Set in a stunning, mythical vision of Sengoku-era Japan, every temple, snowy mountaintop, and burning castle felt alive with atmosphere. Combat was razor-sharp, fast-paced sword duels where posture, timing, and precision meant everything. No button mashing here. Every clash of steel felt like a high-stakes duel. And the bosses? Absolute legends. The towering guardian ape, the lightning-wielding Junichiro, and the unforgettable Ishin Ashina. The difficulty was punishing, but every victory felt earned, like you'd conquered a mountain. Critics hailed it as Game of the Year, and players celebrated it as one of the best action games ever made. In 2019, Sekiro didn't just test your reflexes, it made you feel like a true shinobi warrior.
I wish things were different.
2020 was defined by The Last of Us Part 2, a game that pushed the boundaries of what video games could be. On a technical level, it was jaw-dropping. Naughty Dog crafted environments so detailed they felt lived in. Crumbling skyscrapers overtaken by nature, flooded streets shimmering with reflections, and safe houses scattered with tiny details telling silent stories. The character models reached near photorealism, every wrinkle, scar, and glance packed with emotion. Animations flowed seamlessly, blurring the line between cutscene and gameplay like never before. But where the game really hit hard was in its combat. Encounters were brutal, desperate, and deeply immersive. Stealth meant crouching through tall grass, heart pounding as enemies hunted you down, calling each other by name. Gunfights were raw and tense, forcing you to scavenge every bullet, while melee battles felt personal. Every swing of a pipe, every knife fight was animated with painful weight. And of course, the infected were more terrifying than ever, lurking in the dark with screeches that could freeze you in place. Then came the story. Bold, heartbreaking, and divisive. The Last of Us Part 2 wasn't afraid to take risks, forcing players to confront loss, revenge, and empathy in ways that shocked the world. It split the fan base, but that only amplified its cultural impact. Love it or hate it, it got people talking, not just about the game, but about storytelling in gaming as an art form. With record-breaking sales, over 300 Game of the Year awards, and one of the most ambitious narratives ever attempted, The Last of Us Part 2 didn't just dominate 2020, it redefined what players expected from the medium.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.
2021 gave us something rare, a pure co-op masterpiece. It Takes Two wasn't about graphics blowing your mind, it was about creativity and fun. But make no mistake, its whimsical worlds were gorgeous. Snow globes, magical gardens, clockwork castles, each level bursting with color and detail. The real magic was in the gameplay. Every area introduced new mechanics, from platforming to puzzles to even riding squirrels into battle. The combat wasn't about violence, it was about teamwork, solving problems and overcoming challenges together. Critics and players adored it for being fresh, heartfelt, and fun from start to finish. Winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards, It Takes Two proved that in 2021, sometimes the best gaming experiences are the ones you share. 2022 belonged to Elden Ring. From Software took the punishing combat they were famous for and unleashed it across a massive, jaw-dropping open world. The Lands Between was a masterpiece of design. Rolling fields, haunted castles, poisoned swamps, and colossal trees glowing in the distance. The graphics were hauntingly beautiful, but the combat was the true star. Brutal, precise, and endlessly rewarding. It gave players freedom like never before. Stealth, magic, colossal swords, or just raw skill. Boss fights were legendary. Margit, Radon, Malenia, each a cinematic test of willpower. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest games of all time. Players flooded forums with stories of triumph, and it sold over 20 million copies in its first year. In 2022, Elden Ring wasn't just a game, it was a global event. "2023 delivered Tears of the Kingdom, and somehow Nintendo topped Breath of the Wild. The world of Hyrule returned, but this time expanded into the skies and even underground, creating layers of discovery that felt endless. The graphics were breathtaking, islands floating in the clouds, ancient ruins hidden deep below, and sprawling landscapes filled with life. Combat was even more creative thanks to Fuse and Ultra Hand, letting players build crazy weapons, vehicles, and contraptions to fight enemies in ways no game had ever attempted. Every battle could turn into a spectacle, every puzzle a chance to experiment. Critics gave it near-perfect scores. Fans called it one of the best sequels ever made, and it sold over 20 million copies in just a few months. In 2023, Tears of the Kingdom was the definition of pure creative freedom. 2024's biggest surprise was Astro Bot. What looked like a cute platformer turned out to be one of the most polished, joyous games in years. Visually, it was stunning. Vibrant worlds full of color, charm, and little details celebrating PlayStation history. The platforming was buttery smooth, the animations were playful, and the level design constantly surprised players with clever mechanics. Every level felt like a toy box coming to life, with Astro bouncing, gliding, and battling across wildly creative stages. Combat was simple but satisfying, with gadgets and power-ups that kept things fresh. Critics loved it, fans adored its charm, and it quickly became one of the highest-rated games of the year. In 2024, Astro Bot proved that sometimes the best games are the ones that simply make you smile. And finally, 2025 is still unfolding, but early on, clair obscure Expedition 33 has stood out as a masterpiece in the making. This turn-based RPG stunned players with jaw-dropping visuals, painterly worlds that looked like moving oil paintings, battles filled with cinematic flair, and characters that felt alive with emotion. Combat blended strategy with rhythm, rewarding timing and precision with flashy, devastating attacks. Every encounter felt like a performance, every scene like a piece of living art. Critics praised it as one of the most beautiful and innovative RPGs in years, and fans quickly rallied behind its unique style. If the rest of 2025 keeps up this pace, Expedition 33 may go down as the game that defined the year.